This is the first story that I ever told, or it wasn't the first story I ever told, but it's the first Chelm story that really stood out. I had told a Chelm story before, but this is the Chelm story that everyone, thinks, that's the story that Ben tells. It's Streudel, Streudel, Streudel. The town of Chelm is a town of fools. Well, some people say it's actually a town of people who are very, very wise. But they're so wise that no one understands them and thinks them foolish. But that doesn't really matter. Now, the town of Chelm is a strange town. There are things that are different in the town of Chelm than other towns. And one of the things that's so different is there are some strange signs. Like over there, underneath the light, there's a sign that says, "Search here." Now, to anyone not from Chelm, this sign, it makes no sense at all. But to a Chelmite, this sign makes perfect sense. Because you see, if you lose something in the middle of the night, the best place to look for it is where the light is. Well, that sign, I guess it makes perfect sense. But another sign, it makes even less sense. This sign, it's a large sign, and it stands right in front of Town Hall, and it says, "A schoolteacher may not live on a hill. A schoolteacher may not have a chest with wheels. And a schoolteacher may not have apple strudel." Now, to anyone not from Chelm, this sign, it makes no sense at all. But of course, to a Chelmite, this sign makes perfect sense. And there's a story behind it. Because you see, a long time ago in the town of Chelm, there was a schoolteacher. His name was Zaniel, and he lived on top of a tall hill with his wife, Zelda. Now, Zaniel, he was a poor school teacher. It's not that he was a bad school teacher, far from it. He was a wonderful school teacher. Everyone loved Zaniel. But school teachers, they're not paid a lot. And Chelm, it was not a rich town, so they weren't able to give him as much as they wanted to give him. But it was all right, because Zaniel and Zelda, they always had enough for candles and dinner each Shabbat. That is, until Zaniel and Zelda started to get invited to all of the events in the town of Chelm, all of the parties, the births, the weddings, the bar and bat mitzvahs. At every single event, people wanted Zaniel and his wife Zelda to be there. But at all of these events, there was always apple strudel. Now, Chelm apple strudel, it's amazing. It's the best apple strudel that one can imagine. The apples are just right. The pastry is perfect in every single way. Everyone loves Chelm apple strudel. Zaniel and Zelda really loved Chelm apple strudel. They wanted more apple strudel. They couldn't have any more. They didn't have the money. So they went through their days just thinking strudel, 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 strudel. Until one day, Zelda had an idea. She rushed over to her husband and said, "Zaniel, Zaniel, I know just how we can have all the strudel we want." And Zaniel, he says, What? Tell me." And Zelda says, "You know that chest, the one with wheels that we got from your uncle? I say we roll it out. We cut a hole in the top of the chest, and each day until summer, we drop in 1 coin, 1 zloty. When summer arrives, it will be filled with money, and I can buy all the ingredients and make us all the apple strudel that we want." Well, this was a wonderful idea. So that's just what they did. The next day, they rolled out the old chest, the chest with wheels that Zaniel had gotten from his uncle. They cut a hole in the top of the chest, and Zaniel stood on one side of the chest, Zelda stood on the other side of the chest, and they each dropped in 1 coin, 1 zloty. Well, as the day went on, Zaniel started thinking. He was thinking, "I'm a poor school teacher. I don't make much money. Most of the money I make, I give to my wife. I need my money. I need to buy books, to buy pencils, to repair the schoolhouse. I can't afford 1 coin every day. My wife, what does she need her money for? Her money, it will be more than enough." So Zaniel stopped putting in his coin. Well, meanwhile, Zelda was thinking, and she was thinking, "I don't work. All the money I have, I get from my husband. I need my money. I need to buy shoes, to buy clothing, to buy groceries. I can't afford 1 coin every day. Zaniel, he's a good man. His money, it will be more than enough. So she stopped putting in her coin as well. And days passed. Weeks and weeks passed, months and months, with no coins being dropped into the chest. And finally, it was summer. It was time to open the chest. Well, Zaniel stood on one side of the chest, Zelda stood on the other side of the chest, and slowly they opened the lid and looked inside, and there were 2 coins. There were just 2 coins. They were shocked. They didn't know what happened. Zelda, she says, "We've been robbed." Yes, says Zaniel. "We've been robbed." Oh no, robbers had come into their house in the middle of the night. How did they get in? Where did they come from? Was it one of the Helmites? Was it one of their neighbors? They were so scared. They didn't know who to go to. They didn't know what to do now that the robbers had stolen all of the money in the chest except for 2 coins. Why would robbers steal all of the money in the chest except for 2 coins? Well, that didn't make much sense, and they started thinking. Then they looked at one another. "You," says Zelda. "You," says Zaniel. "You didn't put your money in the Well, I need my money. What do you need your money for?" And they started arguing, yelling at each other. And they're going around the chest, becoming more and more energetic as anger overtakes them. They're yelling at each other, and they're not watching where they're going. Well, Zelda, she slips, and she falls into the chest. And she's yelling, Zaniel, help me out of the chest!" And well, Zaniel, he was mad at his wife. She wasn't putting in the money. But on the other hand, she was his wife. So he decides that he has to help her out of the chest. So he's pulling on her. He's pulling on her, trying to get her out of the chest, but he falls into the chest as well. And the chest, the lid, it slams shut. And it's a chest on wheels, and they're arguing in the chest still, and it's rolling back and forth. And the door to their house on top of the hill, it was open, and the chest on wheels rolls out of the door to their house on top of the hill, and the chest starts zooming down the hill, going faster and faster, with Zaniel and Zelda still arguing, still inside the chest. Well, the dogs of the town of Helm, they hear Zaniel and Zelda arguing inside of the chest, and they start running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill. And the children of the town of Helm, they see the dogs running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill, and they think, "Ooh, what a fun new game." So they start running after the dogs who are running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill. And the mothers, they see their children running after the dogs who are running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill, and they don't want their children to get dirty, so they start running after the children who are running after the dogs who are running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill. And the fathers in the marketplace, they see their wives running after the children, running after the dogs who are running after the chest, and well, they really didn't have anything better to do that day. So they start running after their wives who run after their children, who run after the dogs who are running after the chest, which is zooming down the hill, and it's going faster and faster. It's zooming through the marketplace. It's knocking apples over their chickens on people's heads. It's madness. Well, the chest, it finally comes to a stop after knocking over some potatoes over there. And the Helmites, they gather around the chest. There are voices coming from the chest. "It must be demons," says one man. Yes, demons," said another. Well, the Helmites, they're no fools. Well, anyway, they're no fools. They're afraid of demons. They don't want to go anywhere near the chest. But one of the children, he's not afraid. He's been having so much fun. He goes up to the chest and he puts his ear onto the chest and listens. And he says, "The demons sound like my school teacher and his wife." Well, one of the bravest of the Helmites, he approaches the chest, not as close as the boy, he's not taking any risks today, and he listens as well. It does sound like Zaniel and his wife Zelda. Well, the Helmites, they don't know what to do, so they call the wise men of Helm, the wisest of all of the Helmites. And the wise men of Helm, they come to the marketplace. They open the chest and let Zaniel and Zelda out, still arguing. They realize that this cannot happen again. Something must be done. They listen to Zaniel and Zelda. They know the situation. They decide to meet for 7 days and 7 nights. They will come out with a decision. They will solve this problem and make sure that nothing like this ever happens in the town of Helm again. So the wise men, they meet for 7 days, they meet for 7 nights, and finally they come out with their decision. All of Chelm is in attendance. And one of the wise men, he steps forward and he says, "This must never happen. We know what to do. First, we will take away the chest with wheels that Zaniel got from his uncle. We will move Zaniel and Zelda's house from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill. And the baker will give Zaniel and Zelda honey cakes, so it will appease their cravings for sweets. And so this is remembered. We will put a sign in front of Town Hall, and on this sign it will say, 'A school teacher may not live on a hill. A school teacher may not have a chest with wheels. And a school teacher may not have apple strudel.' So now you, just like the Chelmites, know the meaning behind this sign." Thank you.